Ladies and gentlemen, from the start, you know John Kasich and how principled he is. You know he's a fighter and a scrapper. Well, I'm a fighter and a scrapper too. I'll go out there and fight for freedom. Fight for the liberty that's at stake in this country. So for 20 years, I advocated free market health care. Government getting out of the healthcare business. Believing in 300 million consumers to solve the healthcare problems of this country, giving them the power, them the resources, them the control. And what did President Obama do? No, he takes the opposite approach. The approach that government needs to do this. Needs to take money from some, give it to others, all under the guise of giving you a right. Ladies and gentlemen, in America, do rights come from the government?
Freedom.
Where do they come from? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by with certain inalienable rights. When the government says they can give you a right, not only can they take it away, but they can tell you exactly how you will exercise that right by rationing care, forcing you to violate your religious convictions, or anything else they force you to do. That's why Obamacare must be replaced. This race is coming down to Ohio between two candidates. One who is uniquely positioned on the biggest issue of the day, on the economy, on the deficit, on control of your life, which is Obamacare. The biggest issue, the one that in the swing states that will decide this race, 75% of the voters disagree with Obamacare and the mandate that's included in it. It's the most powerful issue in the states that will determine this election. You already decided here in Ohio how much you love individual mandates. Folks, the other person who's tied for us in the polls in this race, when he was governor of Massachusetts, he imposed an individual mandate on the people of Massachusetts. He imposed a variety of different government-controlled mechanisms to force people, not just to buy the insurance, but what insurance they would choose from, what doctors, and what the limits are on coverages, whether there'll be, what the ratings will be for the price of your coverages, how much you'll be fined if you don't. There are 15 things in a recent report that Romney Care advocated that are identical to what Obamacare put in place. And for a long time, Governor Romney said, well, I'm for Romney Care because it worked in Massachusetts, but I never suggested that that should be adopted at a national level. I said we can learn from what we did, the good things and the bad things. And he repeatedly told that to the people of Ohio, Michigan, New Hampshire, Iowa, South Carolina. He went all over. Saying, no, I never encouraged anybody in the Washington, D.C. to adopt an individual mandate at the federal level. I'm against that. Except we've found out over the last 3 days that, in fact, that's exactly what he did. Not 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but right in the middle of the debate on Obamacare. In 2009, with an op-ed that was remarkably removed from the archives of USA Today. But an old copy was found that said, maybe you should learn, Mr. President, from what we did right in Massachusetts. And he goes on and talks about the individual mandate. And all the other things that, guess what? President Obama adopted And then he has a segment on Meet the Press with Tim Russert back in 2009. Same thing. It's one thing to put in a government-run healthcare program where you were governor of a state. It's wrong in principle. He would have been the worst candidate to go and make that case that, well, it's okay in the state level, but you don't have to have for it on the federal level. It's not a strong argument. If the policy's bad, the policy's bad. Do you believe in free people, like health savings account, or do you believe in government control, like Romney Care and Obamacare? Do you believe in freedom, or do you believe in government control? That's the answer. That's the issue in this race. That's the fundamental issue in this race. And so not only did Governor Romney advocate for a federal government program that Barack Obama gladly accepted and did, but now we know that Governor Romney, for the course of this campaign, has told the people of this country something that wasn't true. Now, it's one thing to have bad policy. It's another thing to mislead the American public. But the governor does this on a variety of subjects, where he says, oh no, you just don't understand. You don't understand, we didn't impose the morning after pill on Catholic hospitals. No, you didn't understand until we found out, oh well, yeah, you did. When you have $12 million and you can outspend someone 12 or 20 or 30 to 1, you can stop and ignore answering the questions. He won't be able to ignore or answer and avoid answering the questions in the fall. And as a result, he will be the weakest candidate we can possibly put forward on the most important issue